Okay, now that I'm done with that tangent and explaining like how to basically like the keys to really throw far. Let's talk about the actual movements that we do. Okay, and not just like the science behind it. Okay, so I've already gone over how to get over the left. It's very simple. Okay, if you haven't looked at the video, it's the first video in the series I'm doing. Okay, so I guess this will be the second part, even though I said the second part in the last video. This is the real second part, okay? It's the sprint phase. And if you haven't checked out my last video, really do, because it's really important for the next videos that I'm going to do to explain the concepts I'm thinking here, okay? So, I've gone here, okay? So what you want to do is not sprint, is you want to just keep rotating. What I like to do, which is a good cue to me, is I kind of stop my left side from turning, like when I face the ring. But what that does is let the rotational energy from my left side turn go into my right side. And what this does is really accelerate. So if you do a sudden stop out of the back with your left side, but the important thing is to keep your right side turning. What this will do is create a tremendous amount of torque and a tremendous amount of rotational energy going into the middle. Okay? And this is how you really create a lot of separation. And it's a very easy cue. Okay, so it'll look like this. Okay? I'm doing it really slow because I don't have a lot of room, and so you guys can see it. Okay? If you want to look at someone who really does this well, look at like Gerd Kanter or Ryan Krauser. You can really see it because he moves so slow to the back. So you can really see how he does this. Someone like Lars Riedel, or basically like any 70 plus meter discus thrower does this, and any 22 plus meter thrower does this. Okay? But it's important, what I want to really mention is you'll see throwers, like you'll see coaches and you'll see throwers be like, keep the left arm inside of the left knee. Or a left-handed thrower, right hand inside of the right knee. This is a big no. Okay? Because this will create several problems. Let me explain why. If I kept closed, okay, like this, and I tried to turn, what this does, and I just try to keep my left arm in the same place, is like, so coaches will say this will create a lot of torque, which it does. But it's in the wrong place, okay? And it creates kind of false, like linear torque, and it's not really like, it's just torque in your like ab. You'll just feel like a little tension in your abs. It won't really like help you throw far, because it will most likely you'll lose some if not a lot of tension, depending on how strong your shoulders are and how mobile you are. How strong, like you'll lose a lot of tension. So what it will do is your right side is basically caught up with your left side, okay? Which will be like always good, okay? But then when I go that turn into the finish, if I'm still actively trying to keep my left side like this, you're gonna decrease. You're gonna decrease speed, okay? So like this, I just cramped in my right side. And some coaches will say, oh, that's good, that's torque. Yeah, I mean, it is torque, but what you also done is slowed down in your finish. You've decelerated, and your finish should be your quickest part. So no, don't do that. You'll notice when like elite throwers, and like people will be like, oh, I mean, they throw far because they're like elite athletes and all that, which they are. Okay, I will give you that. You can't throw 70 plus meters in discus without having athleticism. Okay? But you'll see them, if you look at a back view, that their left arm, so like their left leg will be pointed straight, but their left arm will be like out here or like out here. It will never be closed off. Okay? But they still keep the right side back. So what I'm not telling you to do is to go like that and just yank your arm out, your left arm out of the back, or your right arm out of the back. Okay? What I'm telling you is don't actively try and hold your left side out of the back. Okay? Okay, because it will create the problems that I've just tried to explain. Okay? What this will do, so if you do this, okay, stop the left foot, which should just happen. Like, I mean, this is just a cue for me personally that kind of helps me create separation. It may work for you, it may not. But what it helps me do is that, so like, if you notice in my throws, like I'll be like here, when like I'm like here, and like my chest is like this, okay? But I'm still creating tension in my throw, because you don't need tension in the middle, because you don't want I should say this, you do not want a lot of tension when you're rotating to go into your power position, because that'll slow you down. Okay, you don't need tension there. What you need is speed, and you need a lot of stretch reflex to go into the middle as fast as possible. Okay, and a lot of separation, which you will not get from just holding it there. Okay, because it will stop your rotational energy and make it really hard to turn, and then go into your power. Okay. If you notice, with a lot of the elite people, and I mean honestly, just like, they'll like a 65 plus meter discus thrower will usually not have this closed off. Kovacs is a great example of this. Okay, he used to throw when he was being coached by Arvaninkis, who is a great coach. I don't know if he intentionally made Kovacs do this, but he would go out of the back and hold it there and go like that. And I think that's where this whole trend started. Because they saw him in like 2015 going 22.53 and like averaging like 22 on every throw. Okay? But if you notice now, after Doha in 2019, when he threw like 22.91, and when he started throwing like deep 22s, you'll notice his left arm is like here when he goes. And it's hard to believe, but he's even faster now. Okay? And I think that's a big change that he did. And it produced way bigger throws. Okay? Because he's moving his forces more efficiently into the ball, into the shot put. Okay? It's the same thing in discus. Okay? Okay, so what we want to do, what we want to focus on is rotational energy. The more rotational energy you have, the more like I like to call it accidental linear energy is applied, because I'm not actively trying to go linear. It just happens from a stretch reflex by going around and having rotational energy. Okay? So out of the back, let me go this way. Out of the back, I've rotated, okay? So I'm like here. If I'm actually going full speed, like I'm usually like here, okay? People say, oh, well, you're not torqued. Well, guess what? If I'm going wide and then I go in, okay, I'm gonna do that again. If I'm here, this is tension. I'm actually like basically holding my breath right here. This is tension. Tension is not created from this. Okay? That's slow. The tension is created by the right, what I like to call a right side, or if you're left-handed, a left side hip curl. Okay? So you stop the momentum here. All the energy created from turning your left side or right side out of the back goes into, and so you turn. Okay? It stops like this. Then a stretch reflex should occur. You don't really actively do this. It just happens. If you don't believe me, just go out and try it and you'll see how much it increases the speed of your throw. Okay? And honestly, the first time I did it, I fell because I wasn't used to producing that much force and that much proper torque in my throw. Okay? And when I first learned the hip curl, which I think is a very overlooked part of the throw, when I learned how to hip curl correctly, I threw my practice PR, which is 54 meters when I was, I think the summer after my sophomore year of college. Okay? That's my practice PR. I haven't done that in a meet, but that's for different mental reasons. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna get in that. Okay. Okay. And there's a video. I'm not gonna link it because I don't know how to, but it's on my channel. You can see the difference, and like you'll be able to see it, like the difference between like that throw and then the rest of the throws in like the same day I published, like the same practice. My other throws were kind of like would be like pretty fast, I guess. But then you'll see that one throw and you'll be like, wow, that's a lot of torque, that's a lot of power that he had. That's because I actually hip curl correctly. Okay? So we want the tension to be created by the right side going in. Okay? So I've stopped here. Okay, and it's important to have your left arm open, not like this. Okay? You want it to the point where you can still keep your throwing hand behind your throwing hip. So you don't want to open up too much, okay? Because you don't want the discus to get in front of you. Okay, that's very important. Because then you're gonna have no tension. Okay? So it would look like this. Okay? That's not good. What it's supposed to look like is this. Okay? Let me do that better. Okay, so I've stopped my left side and all the force is going into my right. Okay? So it's important. So those are very important cues. Okay? Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh shit. Well, I mean, this video's gone on quite a long time, so I'll go to the next video.